All right, we are back on this mobile home, tiny home project. If you saw the last video where we left off was I messed up on that cold side supply line. It blocked the soap dispenser, so I'd kind of scooted that over about 4 inches, replumbed that cold side, and now we can get to that soap dispenser again. You know, you're going to make some mistakes here and there, and I made one. But the good news is we've got time and materials to fix it, so we are good to go there. And while I was at it, I said, you know what, I'm going to put a drain valve on the hot side supply line, just because I don't have this thing all wrapped up, and it's been getting, real cold, and then it warms up and it gets real cold. So I've got the drain for the cold side, so now I have a drain for the hot side too. As I mentioned, it's been cold. We just got some snow, so I've been jumping around doing some random stuff. Now in this bedroom, there's a ceiling fan, and it was remote only. I found a universal remote on Amazon. I got this fan cleaned up. It's missing a globe. I got to get some globes. But I got that thing on there and programmed, and now the ceiling fan's working. And that was nice because, these types of ceiling fans are about, $250. So we saved some money there and got it done. And like I said, it's been cold. You can see it's 16 degrees. I've mentioned before we're heating this place up with this Vevor Diesel heater, and I've got Bluetooth so I can see what the temperature is inside. And if you saw the last video, we got a little bit of an insulation issue, so I'm going to try to tackle a portion of that on this whole plumbing side. All of the insulation was pulled out because all these pipes burst and water went everywhere. So I would say, 32 inches wide and almost the whole length of this mobile home, tiny home, had no insulation for, that portion. So I'm getting in there and getting all that put in. And, the thing that stinks is they've got 2x4 floor joists in here, so you can only get a R13 in, and a lot of the bays are random sizes, so it was just a lot of cutting and measuring, but I got all that in and strapped in, and I'd like to follow this up with an additional layer of insulation, because R13 for a floor is not really good. In these mobile home floors, it seems like, an R20 or 30 is more appropriate. So if I could put an R19 up in there, and I'd have to do some finagling to get that to happen, meaning just building something out, that would give me an R32 for the floor, which I think is more appropriate. And I needed to redo the rest of it anyhow. We'll get to that in another clip coming up here. But this is all in, and I made some strapping just to hold it in place because I'm not going to put the moisture barrier back in. And this is the clip that I'm talking about. I showed this in the previous video. Some type of animal was living in the underbelly, and this is more of like the center section. You can see the insulation is all just trampled down and destroyed. So all that needs redone, and I'm going to, do that at a later date. But that's on the to-do list too. And I'd actually like to redo these ducts with a new style duct board. This stuff I don't really care for too much. But now I'm back on another project here. So this Vevor Diesel heater that I have, I guess you could say the control cord is not very long. So what I wanted to do was make this thing kind of seem and function much more like a traditional HVAC system, where you would have a control panel in one place and then the heater is wherever it is. So we're working on a little wiring project to make that happen. So, there's the heater and the heater box, and I'm going to be running wires from there to where the air handler unit is inside of this mobile home. And that way, between this Bluetooth blower motor air handler controller that I have, and then I actually purchased another one of these heaters. You can see where the tape is. I'm going to have another control panel there for the second heater, but that's the Bluetooth one on the left. That's a new one that I got. So that way I can control both heaters and then the blower motor from there. And this is the second heater that I got. I'm going to end up installing that soon. But the Bluetooth feature is nice. You can see here that, you can actually see what's going on and make adjustments. I keep this thing in manual mode because the automatic mode, which is what you would consider a thermostat, doesn't really work that well. So the manual mode is the way to go. And then I can just follow up by looking at my blower motor. It shows the temperature and the humidity. So if it's not where I want it to be, I can just make an adjustment on the heater to make it hotter or colder. Now that I'm going to be adding a second heater, we kind of got to address the power supply. I'm off grid, so I need this heater to work whether I have the generator running or not. So I just ordered one of these batteries, and this would be perfectly fine for running both heaters. And so they're basically going to be, hooked up to this. These heaters run off of 12 volts, so you could use a battery like this, or you could get some type of inverter set up. And I also ordered a different trickle charger for that. This one is appropriate for that style battery. So I'll have that hooked up to the battery, and then whenever the generator's running, it'll be recharging that battery. And then whenever the generator is not running, these heaters, whether I'm running one or two, will be pulling power supply off of that battery. Now, one does really well above, I would say, maybe 30, 28 degrees, but once it dips below that, and I don't know if it has to do with the insulation or not, but you would need a second one. So it does get to about 5 down here sometimes, so we're going to need a second one. Now I'd like to mount the second one back behind that blower motor, and then have the air disperse outside of this blower motor box. This is kind of in the center of this trailer. So having heat in the front and then the middle or the back, you can see there's a little vent there, and there's a hose that goes on the end of this heater. So I could basically just route that hot output air outside of that air handler box and have it blow into the next room, which is next to the bedroom and the bathroom. So it'd be nice to be able to, I guess, have what you would call a split system, so you can kind of tune it in. Now, just for context, we're on this little spot on my property here. That's like 6 acres, and then I've got 45 in the back. So, what we're doing on this thing is kind of proof of concept. The outside is pretty decent, you can see that, but the inside is not that nice. So I'm trying to get a heat situation figured out, to get plumbing functional, and then make sure everything works, and then move forward from there. So I basically just kind of got it where we parked it when we pulled it up here. It's on blocks, it's leveled up, and I would really like to refurbish the whole inside, take out all of this. I'm going to call it paneling. It's drywall, but it's got some kind of applique on it. It's not wallpaper, but it's similar to that. Whatever it is, it's got to go. But yeah, so, we're making some progress. It's not like earth-shattering or super exciting, but every little thing that we do is another step forward. And then there was one other little thing that I started working on. I put, it's a thermostatic heater on the actual, cold line coming in for the water. So, once I have skirting on it and it's put where it's going to go, like this is something that I would want to have on there. It only turns on if the line dips below 40 degrees. But, may as well just, get it on there and, figure out the wiring situation and move forward. So yeah, like I said, we got some stuff done. Every little bit helps. I'd like to get this thing, buttoned up and then move somewhere else on the property, but this is a really good spot to work on it. That's going to wrap it up for this video. Guys, one thing, please, if you're still watching this video, only 12% of the people that are watching my content are subscribed. Please subscribe. Once I start getting monetized, I'd like to be able to give you guys higher quality content, more content. So if you could please subscribe. 88% of people watching are not subscribed. It's free. You don't have to turn the notification bell on. If you could do it, I'd really appreciate it. God bless.